Everyone take your seat, please. Ooh, the lights are bright. Okay, is everyone sitting down? Okay. Okay, welcome everyone here in the auditorium, as well as everyone joining us through live stream. Sorry. I am Lori Lynn Turner, Associate Director of the Creative Writing Program at the New School. As we get started with the program, I would also like to add and respectfully acknowledge that the land on which the New School stands is unceded territory of the Lenape people on the island of Manhattan, from the Lenape word meaning islands of many hills. This region continues to be home to many indigenous persons from this land and from around the globe. I am so happy, I'm actually thrilled, that we are back hosting the Publishing Triangle here at the New School. We have been partners with the Publishing Triangle for 15 plus years. I don't even remember, but a good chunk of time. I'm going to say a few thank yous, then turn the program over. At the New School, I want to thank John Reed, Stuart Pennebaker, Helena Grand Vicente, Lizette Bohr, Kate Tooley, Timmy Lewis, Bianca Lumney, Bianca Rogers, Red Dog Productions back there. Thank you so much. Mark Fitzpatrick, Joe Carney, and Dorian Duncan. At the Publishing Triangle, I would like to thank Bob Burns, Carol Rosenfeld, Emanuel Xavier, who will be our host for this evening's ceremony. Emanuel Xavier helped open the doors for queer poets of color to take center stage and speak their truths as an openly gay spoken word poet in the 90s. Without so much as passion and perseverance, he became an LGBTQ+ icon, as proclaimed by the Equality Forum, and was recently welcomed as a board member of the Publishing Triangle. He will return to his exploration of Latinx and LGBTQ+ culture, community, and identity with Lovely, L-Wire in parentheses, Lovely Child, coming out this fall from longtime publisher Rebel Satori Press. Emanuel, can you come up to the stage? Thank you very much.
Hello. Thank you so much. Welcome to the Publishing Triangle Awards. Thank you. So, I have a script. Whether it is our dry community demonized for entertaining kids with children's books, or the attempt to ban our LGBTQ+ books, now more than ever, it is crucial that readers continue finding the universal truths in our stories and the similarities that unite us. We must continue writing, publishing, and championing our LGBTQ+ authors and books for new generations of readers, so that they know how we lived and loved, how we continue to survive and inspire. Long before diversity, equity, and inclusion were buzzwords within the publishing industry, the Publishing Triangle, founded in 1988, has worked to create support and a sense of community for all LGBTQ+ people in publishing. A shout out to all of our fabulous judges for all of their time and energy selecting our finalists and winners. There are too many of them to name individually, but you know who you are. Special thanks to my fellow board members, Rob Burns, David Groff, Seth Bookie, Steve Greco, our amazing intern, Ariana Abad, and our fabulous Publishing Triangle chair, Carol Rosenfeld. We are gathered here or watching virtually because we love books that share our unique experiences as an LGBTQ+ community. We come from all walks of life and backgrounds: book and magazine writers, editors, agents, marketing, sub-rights, publicity, sales, booksellers, designers, librarians, and general book lovers. Thank you for supporting the Publishing Triangle, and welcome to our annual awards ceremony. Later tonight, as we conclude our ceremony, we'll pay homage to two visionary editors of LGBTQ+ literature, one for whom an award is named, and another we have recently lost. I'm going to set the tone for the evening and kick off with a brand new poem. This is called, I've never read this before, it's called Latinx Is. Latinx is something between Latino and Latina, reclaiming how we are defined hombres sitting in front of lit mirrors with a table full of cosmetics and mujeres with skin fades and ace-bandaged down breasts. Something like drag queens a la escuelita and butches a café con leche, like a cool tío that teaches you how to death drop and titi with a mustache. Something like your primo that mysteriously disappeared from the family and is never spoken about. Somewhere between when did you come into this country and brown babies in hospital delivery rooms. Growing up in a country where we are told to go back to wherever we came from. Somewhere between being oppressed by whitewashed politicians that come from families that look like us and our bodies outlined with white chalk on sidewalks when we are killed. Checked boxes without nuance. Something between J-Lo and Jenny from the Block, Rita Hayworth and Rita Moreno, migrating across rivers and spending all your money on airfare. Something between Vaporub and Brujeria, appreciating art by Goya and Trump-loving Goya products from Spain. Taco Tuesdays and the waitstaff and cooks at Italian restaurants. Children in cages and kids bused to school where they are called spics. Teens turning to gangs for brotherhood, sisterhood, and in the hood, maricones getting gay bashed. Alcoholism and Corona, tequila, margaritas, mezcal, somewhere between a quinceañera and a sweet 16, celebrating Cinco de Mayo and clutching your purse as brown boys walk by. Fetishizing Latin lovers and sex trafficking girls who speak Spanish, getting displaced by gentrification, and they're taking over our neighborhoods. Somewhere between desirable and undesirable, being unwanted no matter what letter closes us out, and O, and A, and X, and E. Somewhere between Vanna White and Wanna Buy a Vowel. Somewhere between your English is so good and speaking Spanglish. Somewhere between the right to live the American dream and being a welfare queen. Somewhere between gracias to the academy and filling up our prisons. Somewhere between el pueblo unido jamás será vencido and we're here, we're queer, get used to it. Somewhere between Dia de los Muertos and painting your face white to symbolize death. Somewhere between you have the right to remain silent and silence equals death. Somewhere between telenovelas and the new One Day at a Time. Somewhere between Richie Valens and Cardi B. Gender fluid like Walter Mercado and Demi Lovato. Somewhere between Lady Bunny's favorite snacks and Bad Bunny. Something like, we were here on this land first, and X marks the damn spot. So I'm going to move it along. Our first award for the night is the Michelle Carlsberg Leadership Award. The Publishing Triangle is proud to honor the best and brightest writers working today. Others contribute to the health, vibrancy, and prestige of LGBTQ literature. In that light, the Michelle Carlsberg Leadership Award recognizes the many contributions of editors, literary agents, and others, including institutions and periodicals, who have worked tirelessly to see that great books reach avid readers. In 2022, this prize was renamed in honor of the publicist and consultant Michelle Carlsberg. Carlsberg was one of the Publishing Triangle's first pair of co-chairs, and she was the founder of the queer publisher Amethyst Press. Her eponymous firm, Michelle Carlsberg Marketing and Management, has worked with a bevy of queer authors, including Kate Clinton, Asado Saint, Catherine Forrest, Jewel Gomez, Wayne Hoffman, Dorothy Allison, Felice Picano, and yours truly, just to name a few. The award was instituted in 2002, and for 20 years was known as the Publishing Triangle Leadership Award. Carlsberg won the award herself in 2010. A cash prize was inaugurated with a 2016 award, and the winner receives $500. So Michelle Carlsberg unfortunately cannot be here with us tonight, but she sent over a video, which I am going to play now.
Hello, good evening. Sorry I couldn't be there with you tonight, but I'm down here in Florida with Mickey Mouse fighting fascism. The Publishing Triangle is a group of queer folks who work to further the publication of books and other materials written by LGBTQ authors or with LGBTQ themes. Thank you for supporting this organization. It is an all-volunteer-run organization. They are leaders. The first steering committee took office in the spring of 1990. Michael Denneny and I were the first co-chairs. Michael was instrumental in being one of my mentors. He was a leader. May my colleague and friend rest in power. Within all of us is the potential to lead, some less, some more. The leadership instinct you were born with is the backbone. You develop the funny bone and the wishbone that go with it. To be an effective leader, you must first care. When you care deeply, you have the passion that is more than just the spark that gets you started. It's the fire inside that sustains you. It is a commitment so compelling that your whole self, body, mind, and spirit are engaged. Passion is not the same as a single-minded determination to get what you want or to create changes you think should be made. Rather, a passion for a higher purpose that's characterized by openness to possibilities and to the innate belief that people want to work together to create the best imaginable. Donnie and Greg have done just that, and we are grateful. Hard work, dedication, and taking the lead makes for building a cultural center and community center within a community center. I am so happy that they're receiving this award this evening. To the honorees, finalists, and winners, I raise my glass.
Donnie and Greg, please come up and accept your award.
Thank you so much. First, we want to say a big thank you to Michelle and to the Publishing Triangle, especially Rob Burns and Carol Rosenfeld, who have been steadfast supporters of the Bureau from the beginning.
And we would like to thank every single volunteer from the very beginning when we started on Orchard Street at Strange Loop Gallery, who have been on the journey with us, past and present today. They're actually handling an event tonight, so we can be here.
We also want to thank the center, the LGBT Community Center, whose staff has supported us tremendously and given us a home. We probably wouldn't still be doing this without the center.
And last but not least, you and everyone that comes through the door, whether you find us on Google, because when you Google gay bookstore, we're told we're it. And somehow that is unbelievable, but we've been told in the last 2 weeks we're the only LGBTQ specific bookstore in the United States. So we would like to extend the invitation to anyone who would like to start their own.
You can do it.
You can do it. It just takes a community, and we want to thank you all as well and everyone out there, because without you doing anything at all, visiting our website, coming to an event, buying books of the authors and the zines, and the craft of those that we know and that we sell, you keep it going. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
The Publishing Triangle established its Poetry Awards in 2001. Each winner receives $1,000. The Audre Lorde Award honors the American poet, essayist, librarian, and teacher. Lorde was nominated for the National Book Award for From a Land Where Other People Live and was the Poet Laureate of New York State in 1991. She received the Publishing Triangle's Bill Whitehead Award for Lifetime Achievement shortly before her death. Among her 16 other books are Zami and A Burst of Light. Presenting the Audre Lorde Award for Lesbian Poetry will be J.P. Howard. J.P. Howard is a poet, educator, literary activist, curator, and community builder. J.P. is the Spring 2023 Brooklyn College Tau Mentor in Residence. Her debut poetry collection, Say Mirror, was a Lambda Literary finalist. J.P. curates Women Writers in Bloom Poetry Salon, which just celebrated 12 years. Here to present the Audre Lorde Award for Lesbian Poetry, please welcome J.P. Howard.
Thank you, Emanuel. It's wonderful to be here in person, for those that are in person, and hi to those who are online. Audre Lorde Award for Lesbian Poetry. The finalists are Beast at Every Threshold by Natalie Wee, published by Arsenal Pulp Press. Her Birth and Later Years, New and Collected Poems, 1971 through 2021 by Irena Klepfisz, published by the Wesleyan University Press. Urban She by Ciara Freeman, published by Button Poetry. And Yearn by Rage Hezekiah, published by Diode Editions. And the winner of the Audre Lorde Award for Lesbian Poetry is Her Birth and Later Years, New and Collected Poems, 1971 through 2021 by Irena Klepfisz. Irena couldn't be here in person, so she sent ahead her speech, which I'm going to be sharing verbatim, and it begins, "The only reason I'm not here is that I'm immunocompromised. I am so honored to be given an award named after the wonderful Audre Lorde. Audre was one of the first lesbian poets I heard read when I first came out as a 33-year-old baby dyke here in New York City in the early 1970s. I was very lucky to come out at a time when New York City was bursting with the energy of the gay and lesbian movements. I remember marching and chanting with great exuberance, 'We're queer, we're poets, get used to it.' We need that kind of energy again. All of us must be involved in opposing the fascist tsunami that is heading our way. I recently read that right now there are over 490 anti-trans bills before state legislation in 45 states. To defeat this hateful campaign, we must gather all our forces and present a united front. To fight now among ourselves or to disown members of LGBTQ communities, some of them the most vulnerable, is not only immoral and inhumane, it's suicidal and guarantees a fascist victory. We need to gather all our forces to shape a just society that allows each one of us to live in peace, no matter who we are, no matter who we want to be, no matter who we choose to love. Thank you for allowing me to speak and for this great honor. Thank you, Irena, for this speech. Beautiful.
Thank you. Our next award is the Thom Gunn Award for Gay Poetry. The Thom Gunn Award honors the British poet Thom Gunn, who lived in San Francisco for much of his life. Gunn was the author of The Man with Night Sweats and many other acclaimed volumes. In its first 4 years, this award was known as the Triangle Award for Gay Poetry, and Mr. Gunn himself won the very first such prize in 2001 for his Boss Cupid. Presenting the Thom Gunn Award for Gay Poetry tonight, we have Reginald Harris. Poet and librarian Reginald Harris won the 2012 Cave Canem Northwestern University Press Poetry Prize for autogeography and was a finalist for a Lambda Literary Award for his first book, 10 Tongues. His work has appeared in numerous journals, anthologies, and online. a member of the National Book Critics Circle, and a recipient of Individual Artist Awards for Poetry and Fiction from the Maryland State Arts Council. He and his partner live in Brooklyn. Please give it up for Reginald Harris.
Thank you. Thank you, Manny. Hello, everybody, and hello, those of you at home. The Thom Gunn Award for Gay Poetry. In the Thom Gunn Award, the finalists are Alive at the End of the World by Saeed Jones, published by Coffee House Press. Invisible History, the collected poems of Walta Borawski, edited by Philip Clark and Michael Bronski, published by Rebel Satori Press. Madness by Gabrielle Ojeda Sagué, published by Nightboat Books. And Mouth, Sugar, and Smoke by Eric Tran, published by Diode Editions. And the Thom Gunn Award for Gay Poetry goes to Invisible History, the collected poems of Walta Borawski, edited by Philip Clark and Michael Bronski. Congratulations.
Oh gosh. I first read poetry by Walta Borawski when I was 15 or 16 years old in anthologies like The Son of the Male Muse and Gay and Lesbian Poetry in Our Time, and look where I am tonight. As I write in the introduction to Invisible History, there was a period when writers and artists lost to AIDS had their work seriously neglected, and it has been really the privilege of my life so far to help recover some of those voices that are in danger of being lost. I'd like to thank the Publishing Triangle, and specifically the judges for the Thom Gunn Award for recognizing Walta's poetry. Special thanks go to Christopher Bram, who fostered my love for Walta's poetry when I was just a teenager by putting me in touch with Michael Bronski and helping me get copies of all the poems. Thanks for Patrick Merla, who invited me to edit a special issue of the James White Review dedicated to Walta during his brilliant tenureship there. I've known Chris and Patrick for almost 25 years, and I don't know where I would be without them. They've always been so supportive of my projects, so thank you to them. Tom Cardamon, thanks for inviting me to suggest titles for Rebel Satori Press's new Library of Homosexual Congress imprint. I'm glad Invisible History could be the first title. And so thank you to Sven Davison at Rebel Satori for seeing that through. But finally, thanks go to Michael for entrusting me with stewarding Walta's work back into print. I told him 2 decades ago that I wanted to do a book like this. So it has been a very long time as I've been sidetracked by other projects, and he has been very, very patient. Finally, Michael could not be here tonight, but he did ask me to say a few words on his behalf. So here's what Michael wanted you to know. So I'm not Philip now, I'm Michael Bronski. I cannot begin to describe the extraordinary pleasure I feel to know that Walta's work is not only remembered, but honored with this award. Walta died in 1994, nearly 30 years ago, but his poetry is as vibrant today as it was then. It is immediate, visceral, and alive. This book would not have happened without the incredible work of Philip Clark, not only a co-editor, but the man who conceptualized it as a possibility that made it happen. Thank you, Michael. Also, Tom Cardamon ushered it through all of its stages, and Sven Davison of Rebel Satori Press moved it into the world. But Walta's poetry would not have blossomed the way that it did without the extraordinary poetry community of good gay poets, and poets such as John Wieners, Charlie Shively, Robin Becker, Sal Farinella, David Eberly, Pat Curris, Ron Schreiber, and so many others who created a space for his imagination and expansive emotional range to grow and flourish. Some of these poets, and many others, have since died, but the energy of community, so necessary even when a poet works alone, continues. For Walta, Michael would like to thank you all so very much. Thank you.
That's right. There's community and then there's community. And as a poet who basically literally grew up in the LGBTQ plus publishing community, I'm happy that there are awards like this to honor our poets. So, moving along. The Publishing Triangle Award for Trans and Gender Variant Literature was first presented in 2016. Works of poetry, nonfiction, and fiction by writers whose self-definition is gender variant or non-gender conforming compete for this prize. In addition, works of nonfiction that are primarily about the trans, gender variant experience are eligible, even if co-written or solely written by cis people. The winner receives $1,000. I'm going to play a video by one of our sponsors.
Hi there, I'm Daniel Handler, often mistaken for Lemony Snicket. I'm coming to you from San Francisco, California, where I grew up and where everything that interesting happened to me was a result of people who were fooling around with gender and queerness and identity and liberation and literature. For many years now, my wife, Lisa Brown, who does not want to be on camera, and I have sponsored the Publishing Triangle Award for Gender and Transvariant Literature. We've been thrilled to do it. We kept it under wraps because we didn't want people to be looking at us. We wanted people to be looking at the artists, but lately people are looking at so many artists in terrible, cruel ways that we thought it would be nice to tell everybody that we are sponsoring this prize. So congratulations to the winners, congratulations to all of us who are fooling around with gender and sexuality and identity and words.
Tonight's award will be presented by Jameson Fitzpatrick. Jameson Fitzpatrick is the author of the poetry collection Pricks in the Tapestry, Birds LLC 2020, which is a finalist for the Publishing Triangle's Thom Gunn Award in 2021. A 2023 National Endowment for the Arts Literature Fellow in Creative Writing, she teaches first-year writing at New York University. Here to present the Publishing Triangle Award for Trans and Gender Variant Literature, please give a warm welcome to Jameson Fitzpatrick.
Hello, everybody. It's so nice to be here with you, and I'm really honored to present this award tonight. I don't need to tell anybody what's been going on. And I'd like to say, not now more than ever, but now as always. This is a category that I've watched and loved and read from for years, so read these books and love these books. The finalists for the Publishing Triangle Award for Trans and Gender Variant Literature are Against Heaven by Kemi Alabi, published by Grey Wolf; Faltas, Letters to Everyone in My Hometown Who Isn't My Rapist by Cecilia Gentili, published by Little Puss Press; Stemmy Things by Imogen Christian Smith, published by Nightboat Books; and Togetherness by Wo Chan, published by Nightboat Books. And the winner of the Publishing Triangle Award for Trans and Gender Variant Literature is Togetherness by Wo Chan, published by Nightboat Books. This is for you.
I didn't prepare a speech. These flowers were for Cecilia. Oh my gosh, I don't know what to say. Thank you all for making this award happen in this category. I am the gender variance. I showed up, and it's so important that we have these awards to make space to celebrate when any trans person or non-binary person gets to tell their story in their own words. And I just want to dedicate this moment to the continuation of trans joy and the continuation of trans life. So thank you all so much. And dinner is on me for all the finalists. Please, let's hang out. Let's do karaoke. I have flowers for you all. Thank you.
That's right. Trans rights are human rights. The Publishing Triangle Torchbearer Award is our next award. Eric Bottcher has been a lifelong public servant and was elected in 2021 to the New York City Council, where he represents the neighborhoods of Greenwich Village, Chelsea, Hell's Kitchen, Hudson Square, Flatiron, Times Square, the Theater District, and the Garment District. That's a lot. Growing up in a small town in the Adirondack Mountains as the only gay person he knew, Eric's personal struggles with depression sparked in him a lifelong dedication to helping the most marginalized members of our society. Most recently, he has been a very public champion of Drag Story Hour, which makes him the obvious choice to present our inaugural Torchbearer Award to Drag Story Hour, New York City.
Good evening, everybody. Let's hear it for the Publishing Triangle, everybody. And Rob Burns, my friend Rob Burns, who helped make all this possible. Hi, everyone. My name's Eric Bottcher. I represent the Village, Chelsea, and Hell's Kitchen in the City Council, sometimes referred to as the Gay District in the City Council. And I could not be more honored to present this award tonight, the Torchbearer Award, to an organization that is on the front lines of the fight for human dignity, the struggle to embrace love over hate, and education and reading. Drag Story Hour has been around for many years, but and it's been very popular with many parents who love to bring their kids and teach their kids the power of reading, while also a little bit about the fact that people come in all shapes and sizes, and that's okay. Imagine that, right? But in recent years, it's fallen victim to this right-wing conspiracy theory that's been spreading online. And it's just the latest right-wing conspiracy theory. It's like following in the footsteps of the Comet Pizza Shop in Washington, D.C., right? Everyone was convinced Hillary Clinton was involved in it somehow. Anyway, people believe this stuff. And now there's Drag Story Hour is being used as a vessel to demonize our community and to rehash these evil tropes about LGBTQ people and anyone who's gender nonconforming in any way, the same kind of tropes that have been used against us for millennia, that we're predators. And they've come to New York City. The worst is happening around the country with these laws that are getting passed in Tennessee, really banning drag, essentially. And but they've come here to New York City, and I and my colleagues in the City Council have been supporting Drag Story Hour programs at our local libraries. And, you know, back in December, I went to one of these readings, which I thought was just going to be a regular Saturday program, like I go to at libraries all the time, the programs that we fund. But outside, there were dozens of people with the most vicious signs and just spewing ugly epithets, predator, child molester, screaming at the people, groomer, screaming at us going in, and screaming at the families with their children. These are people who purport to care about children. I posted what they did online, and the next day they came to our office, my district office, and we were basically barricaded in the office for an hour where they banged on the door and screamed these epithets. They vandalized the hallway on their way out. That night, they came to my apartment building. They wrote all over the sidewalk, child molester, groomer, in huge letters. 2 of them were arrested for entering my apartment building. A third one was arrested for assaulting my neighbor. This is in Chelsea, New York City. But I'll tell you, and they've done it to my colleagues, my council member colleague, Shaker Krishnan. They've come to his house. If their intention was to get us to stop supporting this program, they have failed badly, because Drag Story Hour is going to get more money in this year's budget than in the history of New York City. Because while they like to tell children that, to devalue and dehumanize trans kids and gay kids, we tell them, we love you and you're special and we'll never turn our backs on you and we will support you. That's what Drag Story Hour does, and that's what we do as New Yorkers. So, but I'll tell you, as bad as that thing was that happened to me, the people who participate in Drag Story Hours and the drag performers are the bravest of all, because they are getting ushered in and ushered out under the protection of security, and they deserve so much respect and thanks. And that's why I am so proud to deliver the Torchbearer Award tonight to Drag Story Hour. Please welcome them up, everybody.
Thank you so much, Eric, and to all of you for those incredible words. My name is Ash Blight. Some of you know me out of drag as Oliver Click. I am the program director of Drag Story Hour NYC.
And hello, everybody. I am Flame. I use they, them pronouns in and out of drag, and I am a storyteller with Drag Story Hour.
On behalf of the whole Drag Story Hour NYC family, we want to express our deep gratitude for this recognition. We are so unspeakably grateful for the work being done by the Publishing Triangle and by everyone here in this room, and it is an honor to be recognized alongside such incredible voices in the world of queer literature.
Absolutely, Ash. In times like these, our shared mission of celebrating literacy, diversity, and joyful self-expression is more important than ever before. Drag performers, specifically those who are trans people of color, have always been in the forefront for the fight for freedom of expression, autonomy, civil rights for queer people everywhere. And we're not going anywhere.
The incredible outpouring of support from our partners at the city's public libraries and schools, the New York City Council, the families who attend our Storytime events, and our community defenders on the ground have all made it possible for us to show up stronger than ever in the face of hate and ignorance. And I also want to emphasize that for every far-right fascist who shows up at our events, we have 5 times as many supporters helping us do what we do safely.
Now, if you would like to know more about what you can do to support, you can visit us at our website at dshnyc.org. You can join our mailing list, and you can get a little preview of what we do as an organization. Now, I'm so excited to bring to the stage our incredible activist, artist, educator, community leader, and drag king, who is a storyteller with us for Drag Story Hour, reading one of our favorite books. Please welcome, everybody, Oliver the Place.
All right, thank you all so much. How's everyone feeling tonight? Amazing. Thank you, Ash and Flame. I'm very excited. Does this move or should I just be loud? I think I can just be loud. Can you hear me in the back? Wonderful. Well, good evening, everyone. How's everyone feeling out here today? Wonderful. I'm worried that I don't need a mic. Well, I am so excited to be here with you all today. My name is all over the place because I'm a little all over the place. And I am a drag king and storyteller here with Drag Story Hour NYC. So what that means for me, first, has anyone heard of a drag king before? Yeah, amazing. So, just like a drag queen, I dress up as my favorite made-up character that I named Oliver. And I love to tell stories and create scenes and share community within this dressed-up character. And I love sharing with Drag Story Hour and being able to combine my educational background with my love of drag. So do you guys want to hear a story? Wonderful, because I brought one of my favorites here today. So this book is called 'Twas the Night Before Pride. And illustrated by Juana Medina. I actually had the privilege of meeting the author recently, so I have it signed as well. Twas the night before Pride, a warm evening in June. All the people got ready with the rise of the moon. I think this book is just beautiful. All of the drag artists brushed their wigs with great care, and the bikers checked their tires to make sure they had air. Vroom, vroom. All across the city, people's outfits were planned, and the instruments polished for the queer marching band. Amazing. So I usually ask when I read this book at a story time, who here has been to Pride? Amazing. Hopefully I'll see you there this year. My mom told us all we should go to bed early. She's that type of mom that's more boyish than girly. While Mama finished packing our snacks in a bag, Sammy started chewing on the edge of our flag. Silly Sammy. As I finished my sign, which I laid on the floor, I remembered the prides I had been to before. All day we would walk in the streets, up and down. Pride's one of the best celebrations around. So everyone can take a second and think about the last Pride you went to. Get yourself in the atmosphere, feel the joy, feel the buzzing. That's what these kids are thinking about and remembering fondly. There are floats and loud music and rainbows and glitter. Last year we ran into our babysitter. Tomorrow will be Baby Sam's first Pride. Can we tell the whole story? I hopefully cried. So we sat on the couch, a mom on each side, and took turns telling the story of the very first Pride. I love this one because it's a story within a story. A long time ago in 1969, there wasn't a Pride March. It was a much less fair time. Queer people all over of each shape and size didn't have any rights recognized. So much of their lives they had to keep hidden. Even their clothing was sometimes forbidden. Stonewall was a place where it was safe to be proud. But police would storm in to say this wasn't allowed. So one hot night in June, people stopped being quiet. They decided to fight and started a riot. More and more gathered. Yeah, you can get it up. More and more gathered to fight back in the heat. Some started a kick line in the middle of the streets. I believe they sang a song about the Stonewall girls with their hair in curls, something along those lines. Police broke up the crowd night after night, but people stood strong, knowing this wasn't right. And so it began a march that spread worldwide to show everyone it's good to have pride. I've always thought it was incredible. I grew up in Long Island, so I've always thought it was incredible and made me so proud to think that pride started right here in New York City. That makes me endlessly proud, and I love sharing that with kids with this book. It sometimes happens when we're not given respect. It can take a long time for some to accept. And that's why every year we all get together and march in the streets no matter the weather. I know, that's right. To know that we matter, to show all we exist, and that any oppression we must always resist. So pride's not just about rainbows and tutus and rainbow suspenders, but it's about rights for queers and all of our beautiful genders. Pride's a day that is crowded. It's a day that is long. It's a day that means together we are strong. As I closed my eyes, I thought of Pride's past. Pride means to me, being yourself is a blast. Yeah, sometimes I like to have the kids repeat it as an affirmation. Do you guys want to repeat that with me? Yeah. I'll say it one more time for you. Being yourself is a blast. Being yourself is a blast. Amazing remembrance, say to yourself. Write it on your mirror. So tomorrow I will march with my family and cheer. Happy Pride to all. It's great. My family is here.
Thank you all so much. This might be off now. Thank you all so much. Can you hear me? Is it on? Great. Thank you all so much. That was great. I love reading that book to children and families because it really centers families with pride. Because there's always a lot of controversy about kids at Pride. When a parade full of rainbows and affirmations about loving yourself is exactly where kids should be. So it's great to have that kind of perspective and center families celebrating all together. So thank you guys so much, and thank you for having us.
Give it up for Drag Story Hour. How's everybody doing? You good? Okay. Our next award is the Joseph Hansen Award for LGBTQ crime writing, which recognizes an outstanding work of crime, fiction or nonfiction. This award honors the American novelist Joseph Hansen. In his lifetime, Hansen was widely acclaimed. The Los Angeles Times called him the most exciting and effective writer of the classic California private eye novel writing today. In 1992, he received the Lifetime Achievement Award by the Private Eye Writers of America. Hansen won a Lambda Literary Award in the gay mystery category for A Country of Old Men, the 11th book in the Brandsetter series. The winner receives a prize of $1,000. And I will be introducing that award. The finalists are 1989, an Ali Burns novel by Val McDermott, published by Grove Atlantic. Survivor's Guilt by Robin Giggle, published by Kensington Books. Sorry if I messed that up. Vera Kelly, Lost and Found by Rosalie Netsch, published by Tin House. The Verifiers by Jane Peck, published by Knopf Doubleday Publishing. And the winner of the Joseph Hansen Award for LGBTQ crime writing is Survivor's Guilt by Robin Giggle.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. And it's Geigel, by the way. I am so honored. I am humbled. It's just amazing, and I didn't prepare anything because I didn't expect to be standing here. But first of all, thank you to the Publishers Triangle for this amazing event and for these amazing awards. It's absolutely fantastic. I'd also like to thank Michael Nava. For those of you who don't know Michael, he's an attorney and author, and it's my understanding that it was Michael's idea to come up with the Joseph Hansen Award, and I can't tell you how honored I am to be the first recipient of that award. I'd like to thank my family for bearing with me, for my friends who never see me, because I am a practicing full-time attorney in addition to being an author. I mainly want to thank my agent, Carrie Pistrito, who took a chance on me as a 60-something-year-old author to start trying to shop around my books, but mainly to John Scamiglio at Kensington Publications. John, again, took a chance on a 60-something-year-old transgender attorney writing stories about a criminal defense attorney who happened to be transgender. And so I am just so blessed to be here. I wrote these books with kind of three things in mind. Number one, I wanted to entertain people. I love legal thrillers, and so I wanted to do that. Number two, there is so little representation of the trans community in literature generally, but certainly in the crime fiction genre. We're usually victims as opposed to anything else. So I wanted to have a protagonist that everybody who's in the trans community could identify with. And I like to think that Erin McCabe is a kick-ass woman. And last of all, like Joseph Hansen, I wanted to write these books to help educate people as to the issues that are facing the transgender community. And so I hope that I've done my little part in trying to educate folks as to what it means to be transgender and the issues that we face. And I just thank you all so much. I am so honored and humbled. Thank you.
Congratulations, and sorry for my Adele Dazeem moment. Our next award is the Randy Shilts Award, which honors the journalist whose groundbreaking work on the AIDS epidemic for the San Francisco Chronicle made him a hero to so many in the community. Shilts, who passed away in 1994, was the author of The Mayor of Castro Street and The Band Played On and Conduct Unbecoming. This award recognizes the best nonfiction book of the year by or about gay men, bisexual men, and or trans men, or that has significant influence upon the lives of queer men. The Randy Shilts Award for Gay Nonfiction will be presented by the great Christopher Bram. Christopher is the author of 12 books, including the novel that became the movie Gods and Monsters. He won the Randy Shilts Award himself in 2012 for his literary history, Eminent Outlaws, the Gay Writers Who Changed America. Please give a warm welcome to one of our finest, Christopher Bram.
Thank you, and it's just great to be here tonight. This is such a great kind of feeling of community and sanity in this crazy time, and I'm so happy to be here. So the Randy Shilts Award for Gay Nonfiction, the finalists are Against the Wall, My Journey from Border Patrol Agent to Immigrant Rights Activist by Jen Budd, published by Heliotrope. Boy with the Bullhorn, A Memoir and History of ACT UP New York by Ron Goldberg, published by Fordham University Press. Reclaiming Two Spirits, Sexuality, Spiritual Renewal and Sovereignty in Native America by Gregory Smithers, published by Beacon Press. A Union Like Ours, The Love Story of F.O. Matheson and Russell Cheney by Scott Bain, published by the University of Massachusetts Press. And the winner of the Randy Shilts Award for Gay Nonfiction is Boy with a Bullhorn, A Memoir and History of ACT UP New York by Ron Goldberg.
I mean, the award is nice, but to meet Christopher Bram, I mean, wow. Thank you so much. Thank you to the Publishing Triangle for this. I knew I would need this, so sorry. First, I want to congratulate, this has been great, and I want to congratulate all the nominees for all the work they've done and their courage for putting their work and their lives out there. That's really what this is all about. And when I look at the list of the past nominees and winners, I'm struck by how many of those people helped me find my path through the world as a gay man. And Christopher Bram, wherever you are clearly one of them. And that's really what this is all about, right? It's about sharing our truths, our stories, our histories, and illuminating a path and leaving breadcrumbs for others and other generations to follow. And as everyone said, this is so important now, in particular when there are people who I will not mention, but we know who they are, who are trying to cut us off from our stories, our history, and our culture. And while I'm really thrilled to get this award for gay nonfiction, I really want to say that our stories and our history is not just gay history or LGBTQ history, it is American history. And it should be honored and celebrated in the public square and taught in our schools. And that, above all, is what I really want to do. Okay, I want to thank Fordham University Press for publishing my book and for understanding the importance of the story I was trying to tell. My agent, Lorde McLeod, who, again, a 60-something author, first time with like an 800-page manuscript. It's much shorter now. And to my friends, my family, my Fire Island housemates, everyone who for years somehow refrained from rolling their eyes every time I talked about my book, and oh no, I'm still writing it. And most importantly, my husband, Joe Chiplock, who was here, who, when we met in ACT UP 31 plus, almost 32 years ago, had no idea he was entering a throuple with me and my book. He's been my rock, my proofreader, my biggest champion. And finally, to my comrades in ACT UP, both here and gone, thank you for your love, your courage, your strength, your smarts, and your fierce fabulousness. You are my heroes and my teachers, and it is the honor of my life to be counted among you. Thank you, and ACT UP, fight back, fight AIDS. Thank you.
So far, so good. I haven't been slapped yet, but I slap back. Okay. The publishing triangle began giving the Schiltz Grahn Award for nonfiction in 1997. Each winner receives $1,000. The Judy Grahn Award honors the American writer, cultural theorist, and activist best known for The Common Woman, Another Mother Tongue, and A Simple Revolution. It recognizes the best nonfiction book of the year by or about lesbians, bisexual women, and/or trans women, or that has a significant influence upon the lives of queer women. Tonight, this award will be presented by Jennifer Levin. Jennifer Levin is the author of Water Dancer, nominated for the PEN Hemingway Award, Snow, Shimone's Lover, The Sea of Light, a Lambda Literary Award finalist, and the short story collection Love and Death and Other Disasters. Her first novel, published in 1981 when she was 26 years old, established her as one of the few uncloseted lesbians of that time to receive serious critical attention from the mainstream. Her nonfiction has been published in the New York Times, the Washington Post, and other venues. She taught fiction writing at the Writer's Voice, New York, and creative writing at the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Jennifer Levin.
You know, you live long enough, you get on stage at some point here. I look out at everyone here, and I'm not going to babble on because this is about the award winners, not about the rest of us. But I have to say that more than 40 years in this business, and I see people in the audience who are still alive with me, and I say, oh, thank you for being alive. Thank you for being here. Bless you. And to the people that we have lost, who got up every day and looked at themselves in the mirror and decided to live another day, when living and being themselves was not a blast, and it was not fun, and the odds were stacked against them. So to my gay brothers that I have lost to AIDS, you have informed my life, you have blessed my life, you have taught me that, you've taught me three things: live hard, love freely, and read a fucking book. The Judy Grant Award for Lesbian Nonfiction. The finalists are Brown Neon by Raquel Gutierrez, published by Coffee House Press. A Cheerleader's Guide to Spiritual Enlightenment by M.B. Cacheta, published by Engine Books. Public Faces, Secret Lives, A Queer History of the Women's Suffrage Movement by Wendy L. Rouse, published by NYU Press. Spy Daughter, Queer Girl in Search of Truth and Acceptance in a Family of Secrets by Leslie Absher, published by Lata Books. And the winner of the Judy Grant Award for Lesbian Nonfiction is Brown Neon by Raquel Gutierrez. Hello, is Raquel Gutierrez here? Okay, I guess not. Well, the Publishing Triangle accepts this award on your behalf, Raquel Gutierrez. Congratulations. Mazel tov, felicitaciones.
The Betty Berson Emerging Writer Award is an annual literary award presented by the Publishing Triangle to honor achievement by an emerging LGBTQ writer. The prize is presented to a writer who has shown exceptional talent and the promise of a continued literary success and significance in the future. And before I go on, I just have to say I love her in this picture. That's the I want to have a cocktail with her. Anyway. Here to present this award tonight, we have Carla J. Carla J, PhD, that's right, was a member of Red Stockings. She participated in many early feminist events, including the takeover of the Ladies' Home Journal offices. She was part of the women's collective at the underground newspaper Rat and helped organize the Lavender Menace action at the Second Congress to unite women in 1970. She organized the first national Ogolin to protest the harassment of a woman because she was well endowed by Wall Street brokers every day. Carla J was an early member of New York's Gay Liberation Front and was its first female chair. She has written, edited, or translated 10 books, including Tales of the Lavender Menace, a memoir of liberation. She is Distinguished Professor Emerita at Pace University, where she taught English, Women's Studies, and LGBTQ Studies for 39 years. Please give it up for Carla J.
Well, you know, the only good thing I can say is I can see the people at home as well as I can see the audience. So, you know, it's so wonderful to be back here with my friends at the Publishing Triangle and to have been asked to present the Betty Berson Emerging Writers Award. I knew Betty, and let me just say a few things about her. She was really a Renaissance woman. She was a psychotherapist. She was the first person to be a psychotherapist and to be out as queer in the United States. She was a wonderful writer. She wrote several books, including Permanent Partners. She helped found the Gay and Lesbian Service Center in Los Angeles. And she wanted to help others. And this is what we all need to do. You know, as I see my aging colleagues up here, more of us need to step forward to help those who are writing as young and emerging writers today. And that's the purpose of this award. I'm so proud to present this award to Chrysostos Apache. They are a poet who is on the cutting edge. Their writing is transgressive and original and includes languages from the Apache Nation, from Navajo, and of course, their English is riveting. But I am going to let Chrysosto speak for themselves. Thank you.
I'm sorry I cannot be here in person to accept this award. So I'm joining you at my home here in Lakewood, Colorado. I want to thank the Publishing Triangle Award Committee for selecting my book, Ghost Word, published by Gnashing Teeth Publication, for the 2023 Betty Burson Emerging Writers Award. I am honored to be joining the previous list of recipients. I also want to dedicate this award to my family who live in Mescalero, New Mexico, and Tojajale, New Mexico. The premise behind my book is sort of autobiographical, which deals with a lot of personal situations in my life growing up as a gay Native American. The book deals with some traumatic issues, so I also want to dedicate this book to those who continue to survive and work to overcome post-colonial stress trauma here in North America. I thank you again for this award.
Do you love my PowerPoints? I feel like I'm at work. The Edmund White Award for Debut Fiction, first presented in 2006, is named in honor of Edmund White, the esteemed novelist and man of letters who won the very first Bill Whitehead Award for Lifetime Achievement in 1989. The Edmund White Award celebrates the future of LGBTQ literature by awarding a prize to an outstanding first novel or story collection. The winner receives $1,000. Here to present the Edmund White Award for Debut Fiction, please welcome the legendary Felice Picano.
I actually remember when he looked that young. We've known each other for like 50 years or something like that. I've been lucky enough to teach at Antioch University, LA, and also to have founded the West Hollywood Library Writers Foundation, which was a series of workshops. And I'm always stressing to young writers who've not been published before that they should have a strong first book, and that it was really important. And often they say, well, you know, so-and-so didn't have a career until, you know, their 8th book or their 9th book or something. And I say, yes, but what about Interview with the Vampire? What about City of Night? And I then name novel after novel after novel, because if you hit a sensation the first time or get wonderful reviews or win a prize like someone's going to win tonight, it really does make a difference. That doesn't mean the other books are not as good, but it's a really big help. I know that. So I'm going to be pronouncing names, I hope, right. The finalists for the Edmund White Award for Debut Fiction are Arribada by Estela Gonzalez, published by Sinren Press; Greenland by David Santos Donaldson, published by Amistad HarperCollins. Little Rabbit by Alyssa Song-Siridesh, published by Bloomsbury, U.S. Manywhere by Morgan Thomas, published by MCD Books, Farrar, Straus, and Giroux, and Vagabonds by Elekosa Ozunde, published by Riverhead Books, Penguin. And the winner of the Edmund White Award for debut fiction is Arribada by Estela Gonzalez.
Estela here? Oh, good.
Hey, boy.
My gosh, no. Okay, I really was not expecting this. You know, my wife is in Holland. My kids don't even know I'm here. You know, like, and I'm like, well, what the heck? I'm gonna go to New York and from Vermont, right? Like, take a train. It's been insane. Like, some people here already know what I mean when I say insane. It's been kind of insane in good ways, in excellent ways, and also crazy ways. Crazy. You'll catch me out there if you want, and I'll explain. I am so grateful. I am 60 years old. This is my first book. And thank you. Well, actually, it's my first novel, because I wrote an academic book, but it doesn't count, right? It does not count. I am so incredibly grateful. I am the second daughter. I'm always second. I get finalist this, finalist that. I really wasn't expecting this. And somebody said, yeah, you're a late bloomer, aren't you? And I'm like, I guess. But I am so grateful to the Publishing Triangle, to the amazing Bureau, to all of you guys for being here. I am so grateful for your books. I can't wait to read the ones I haven't read yet. And I am just grateful to be alive. And my dad died before I could come out. I didn't come out until he died for a reason. And I know he's happy. But it took me a while. Thank you so much. This is too much. Thank you.
Is everybody doing good? Yeah. We're almost done. Wow, this is great. The Ferro-Grumley Literary Awards was established in 1988 to recognize, promote excellence, and give greater access to fiction writing from queer points of view. To honor the memory of authors Robert Ferro, The Blue Star, Second Son, etc., and Michael Grumley, Life Drawings, etc., life partners who both died that year of AIDS. The group gave 2 awards, one for lesbian fiction and one for gay fiction, from 1990 through 2008. Starting in 2009, a single award, the Ferro-Grumley Award for LGBTQ fiction, has been presented. It is bestowed by a specially constituted panel of judges selected from throughout the United States and Canada, from the arts, media, publishing, bookselling, and related fields. The winner receives $1,000 as well as a summer residency at Art Workshop International in Assisi, Italy. Not everybody wants to write that book, huh? Presenting the Ferro-Grumley Award for LGBTQ fiction will be Sarah Van Arsdale and Stephen Greco. Sarah Van Arsdale is the author of the novels Toward Amnesia, Blue, and Grand Isle. Her most recent book is a collection of poetry entitled Taken, an affiliate faculty member in fiction writing in the Antioch, LA Low Residency MFA program. Van Arsdale is also the creator of several short animated films and a book-length narrative poem starring the mountain lion of New England and illustrated by the author. Stephen Greco is author of the novel Now and Yesterday and the nonfiction collection The Sperm Engine. His most recent novel, Such Good Friends, based on the friendship of Truman Capote and Lee Radziwill, will be published next month by Kensington. He is editor-at-large of the magazine Upstate Diary and has written works for the stage that have been presented at the Kennedy Center and the Salzburg Marionette Theater. Please join me in welcoming Stephen Greco and Sarah Van Arsdale.
I'm Stephen Greco. I'm the one who's Stephen Greco, director of the Ferro-Grumleys.
And I'm Sarah Van Arsdale, co-director of, and I'm just going to spell this out. I don't have to spell it out for you, but I fear that we are not saying certain words because we're using these letters instead. And I'll just say I am co-director of the Ferro-Grumley Award in lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer literature. So just to say those words out loud.
This year, we received almost 70 nominations, which showed us a wider range of points of view than ever in characters, situations, as well as and dilemmas, and in strategies for living. The finalists, alphabetically by author, are Call Me Cassandra by Martial Gala, translated by Anna Kushner, published by Farrar, Straus and Giroux. The editor was Jackson Howard. The agent was Nicole Witt of Merton Witt.
The Other Mother by Rachel M. Harper, published by Counterpoint Press. The editor was Dan Smetanaka. The agent was Anjali Singh of Aisha Penn Literary.
Didn't Nobody Give a Shit What Happened to Carlotta by James Hanahan, published by Little Brown and Company. The editor was Ben George. The agent was Doug Stewart at Sterling Lorde.
Brother Alive by Zain Khalid, published by Grove Press. The editor was Peter Blackstock. The agent was Kent Wolfe of Neon Literary.
Junie by Chalene Knight, published by Big Hug Press. The editor was Meg Story. There was no agent.
Big Girl by Mecca Jamila Sullivan, published by Liverwright W.W. Norton and Company. The editor was Gina Iaquinta. There was no agent.
These were all great books, as were the other 64. Buy them all. Tonight's winning book was called Wondrous by the New York Times, Razor Sharp and Dangerously Hilarious by the Los Angeles Times. The author's 2015 novel, Delicious Foods, which deals with human trafficking, won a PEN/Faulkner Award and was named one of Publishers Weekly's top 10 books of that year.
The author finds a truly original and unique voice for his character, Carlotta, a Black trans woman who transitioned at the beginning of her prison sentence for armed assault and robbery. In her fifth attempt to obtain a conditional parole, Carlotta scores her freedom. Going back to New York City over a fateful 4th of July weekend, she has to endure her disrespecting family, reunite with her son, and try to resume something resembling a normal life, all while trying to avoid any infraction that might send her right back to the penitentiary.
Really amazing book, and the author was just granted a 2023 Guggenheim. So for Didn't Nobody Give a Shit About What Happened to Carlotta, the Ferro-Grumley goes to James Hanahan. Congratulations. Fabulous book.
Congratulations.
Thank you. What an incredible honor. It's so great to be here among my lesbian, gay, bisexual, I have to look. The transgender, queer? Questioning? It was questioning once at one point. No, it can be anything. There's a character in the novel who just calls us the alphabet people. So I was actually going to say something like that instead of, oh, what is this? Yeah, no, that's for you. Oh, is this the check? I always thought it was pronounced a sissy, but I guess that's me. The Italian place where, it seemed like it would be, I'm screwing this up, so I'm just going to read my, so thank you so much. And it was a great reminder when we were hearing from Drag Story Hour about what a great debt we all owe to the Black, non-gender conforming people of, oh, this is a really hot mic, people of the Stonewall riots. And that same kind of, Carlotta is full of that same kind of New York street, gender non-conforming energy. So I want to say thank you to everybody who was there and who liberated us all, okay? I also want to, the job is not done, as we all know, too. So let's keep going. I want to say thanks to the Publishing Triangle, to the judges for honoring a book that centers one day, just one day, more or less, in the life of a Black Colombian trans, formerly incarcerated woman from New York City who has a truly dirty mouth. I'd like to accept this award in honor of the real Carlottas who are fighting all the systems out there just to be who they are. And I encourage everyone to support organizations like the Sylvia Rivera Law Project and Black and Pink, who advocate for trans rights and prison abolition. I see you, I feel you, and I definitely give a shit. I want to say thanks also to the husband, Brendan Maroney, who is, I'm not going to say anything about it. And my long list of first readers that I won't go into. Thanks also to the team, Doug Stewart, a proud ringmaster of an awesome literary freak show, Ben George, an editor who edits a lot like a writer, which means you can't get away, you can't get him to give you the manuscript back. Lena Little, who is unafraid to publicize a book with shit in the title. And Bruce Nichols, who is the publisher of Little Brown, who actually chose that title. Talk about blessings. I still can't believe that the publisher chose the title that was that long and had the word shit in the middle of it. Facebook would not advertise this book for various reasons. It hasn't been banned yet, but we wish a motherfucker would. So all of y'all are bad motherfuckers, and I guess I'll choose that title next time, but oh no, wait, it's already out there. Thank you so much.
Y'all forgot the plus. Okay. Now, David Groff is an independent book editor, a founder of the Publishing Triangle, and the author most recently of the poetry collection Live in Suspense. Please give it up for David Groff.
What a wonderful evening. In 2002, on this stage, Michael Denneny received the first leadership award awarded by the Publishing Triangle. He was an inevitable choice, and not only because he was one of the co-founders of this organization in 1988. He was then, and he is now, a vital, pivotal, indispensable engenderer of the 2022 books we have celebrated here tonight, along with the entire library of 5 decades of queer writing, especially gay men's writing, but writing by people of all gender identities. His dedication, savvy, sensibility, and vision inform and define how our books get published, find readers, and define our culture. Michael Denneny died on April 12th of this year. I am so glad he got to hold in his hands his own new book on Christopher Street, Life, Sex, and Death After Stonewall. Life, Sex, and Death After Stonewall. Michael Denneny knew a lot about those things. As a person, an intellect, and a participant in the gay life of New York, he knew a lot about the life we have been making for ourselves. He helped to bring it to articulation, the life we led then and lead today. And certainly he knew about sex and love, writing a book of interviews with gay male lovers, living the life of an urban post-Stonewall gay white man. He even would go to the baths on his lunch hour, which I, as a young editor, took careful note of as a workday opportunity. Death he also knew about. Michael Denneny came of age in New York in the 1970s and lived to endure, survive, and chronicle the traumatic, destructive, scourging era of AIDS. And like so many gay men and lesbians in New York, he cared deeply for people with AIDS he loved and lost. I can see right now the face of his friend Jay, whom he worked out with alongside me and so many others at the Chelsea Gym. His lost authors are their own pantheon. And surely he knew about Stonewall, naming his series of LGBTQ books Stonewall in Editions, and his career and sensibility essentially spanned the entire 50 years plus since the time when queer and trans people just 5 blocks away from where we are tonight took their anger onto the streets and turned it into an enduring, culture-making activism, as we all took on the continuing, evolving work of defining what it means to be lesbian, gay, bi, trans, or queer, doing essential transformative work that makes us all, as Felice Pacano put it, people in history. Michael was a founding editor of the magazine Christopher Street. It has been said that Christopher Street was the New Yorker magazine for queer people, but I prefer actually to think of the New Yorker as a Christopher Street for straight people. The writers that Michael brought to light remain the luminaries of the post-Stonewall literary movement. During his long tenure at St. Martin's Press, Michael published such books as For Colored Girls Who Have Considered Suicide When the Rainbow Is Enough by N. Tasake Shange and Judith Thurman's biography of Isaac Dennison, as well as such directly LGBTQ titles as novels by Christopher Davis, Larry Duplachon, Edmund White, John Fox, Ethan Morden, Douglas Sadownik, and many more, as well as such powerful works of nonfiction as Reports from the Holocaust, The Story of an AIDS Activist by Larry Kramer, The Soul Beneath the Skin, The Unseen Hearts and Habits of Gay Men by David Nimmons, poetry collections by Paul Manette, Lesbianism Made Easy by Helen Eisenbach, and the provocative, era-defining Frontline Chronicle and the Band Played On, Politics, People, and AIDS, and the AIDS Epidemic by Randy Schultz. But Michael's impact extended beyond the books that he edited with such finesse, savvy, intelligence, and care. Through his relentless efforts at St. Martin's, he created a new publishing model that showed how books targeted to queer readers, especially gay men, could find enthusiastic and substantial readerships and be published profitably. Before him, nobody believed that queer books could make money. Michael proved they could. Let me say it now, queer books make money. Queer books have readers. Michael was at a publishing house that made its money through publishing myriad books to precise readerships, from murder mysteries to self-help, and queer books thrived in that environment. But this work was not easy. Michael was lucky to get a job and to keep a job as an out gay man at a time when myriad gay editors may have been out but weren't out and about and didn't publish anything in any shade of lavender. It remained difficult, especially with the corporatization of mainstream publishing that has constricted what LGBTQ editors and authors could do because the numbers seemed not big enough and the risks too high, especially if you were not a gay white man. Michael took risks. He worked the system. It was an exhausting, often exhausting effort that he excelled at. In our current era, when the issue of sustainability still looms large for all writers, especially our writers, and an age of consolidations and winner-take-all publishing, Michael's strategies for publishing effectively and profitably are ones we should all look at and adapt as we seek a substantial, large readership for our books and a sustainable publishing culture. When I came into publishing, Michael was already a major figure, a formidable but always genial and engaging one. He was my model, and to some degree my competitor, when I was an editor at Crown and he was at St. Martin's. As LGBT people in publishing and beyond came together in the late 80s to advocate for their books and find community and to found this organization, we would meet in the boardroom of St. Martin's Press in the narrow Flatiron blade at the north end of the Flatiron building as we began advocating for our books and our own place in the business and establishing these very awards. Michael was essential to that process. Michael and I shared authors, including Paul Manette, and shared notes and notions about the publishing strategies, including how to seduce those straight folks and some gay men who kept their arms folded and their faces flat in marketing meetings when we pitched our books. We even shared sales figures. And later, I got the precious chance to work with Michael as my editor when I co-wrote an adoption memoir he published called An American Family by John and Michael Galluccio. Later, when we both were independent editors, Michael became a supportive colleague. It was wonderful to lunch with him at his book-lined apartment on West 83rd Street and to see him sitting right down there, where all of you are, at these very awards. He was an amazing man, generous, loquacious, wearing his considerable intellect lightly, engaged with change, uttering wise and sometimes sardonic sayings in his hearty Rhode Island accent, his face spreading into a wide smile, and smoking those incessant Carltons. Sturdy, enduring, a survivor, an executor, a chronicler, Michael seemed like he would be with us forever, a mountain, a harbor, a lighthouse. But Michael's impact transcends the specifics of the books he edited, published, and wrote. In the words of writer Jonathan Sillam, through his many projects, he helped to make our lives legible to others, and perhaps more importantly, to ourselves. The great mission of LGBT society and culture over the past 55 years has been to bring our identity and community to articulation, to create the words, the legibility, the larger culturation without which we would not know ourselves. Michael helped give us those words that shape ourselves and our societies. Without our queer and trans words, which still come to us so primarily through the written page, do we even know who we are or who we might continue to become? To make those words and to engender those resonant words in others is what unites us all in this room tonight. It is the work of culture. It is the work of history. Even as we grieve Michael, we can celebrate that the culminating book of his career on Christopher Street was just published by Chicago Review Press. So now, on behalf of Michael, ever the advocate and marketer, the man who would grinningly thrust a new book in your hands, I will ask you what I know he would ask you all if he were here. Buy the book. Buy his book. Buy other books. Our words, Michael's words, give us meaning and breath. If we buy the books, if we make others buy them, and if we all read them together, then we can foster the sustainable culture that Michael helped us to build. Thank you, Michael, for all you've given us, all you've helped to make happen, and thank you all.
And now just a brief moment of silence for some others that we lost in the past year. Thank you. I believe this is the last word of the night. To present the Bill Whitehead Award for Lifetime Achievement, Joe Manetti is a 5-time Bear title holder who has worked as a health educator and HIV testing counselor, a mental health counselor, a foster care social worker, a writer, and an actor. His fundraising and outreach efforts supporting people living with HIV/AIDS, LGBT youth, people challenged by homelessness, and LGBT immigrants has been recognized in multiple locations. He was presented with the Justice Love Award from the Metropolitan Community Church in the Valley in North Hollywood, California in 2010. In 2014, he received the Dorothy Award from the New Haven Pride Center in New Haven, Connecticut, as well as the Pride New York Award from the Pride New York organization in New York City. Please welcome Joe Manetti to present the Bill Whitehead Award for Lifetime Achievement.
Finally, we're here at the end. How's everybody doing? Can you see me? I'm so short, I don't know. Well, I'm very proud to be able to present this award to Patrick Klepfisz. Who is Patrick Klepfisz? You know, go ahead, applaud. You can applaud. I know who Patrick is, but I also have a script because there's a lot to go over here. Patrick is a bisexual trans man, a sex-positive radical. Above all, Patrick is a writer. Tonight he's being honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award for his writing. It's a lifetime of work that includes short stories published in Drummer magazine, as well as advice columns for The Advocate, Advocate Men, Girlfriends, and Bound and Gagged magazine. His books include Sophistry, the Book of Lesbian Sexuality, 1980, Macho Sluts, Erotic Fiction, 1994, Public Sex, The Culture of Radical Sex, 1994, Feminism and Sadomasochism, 1996, and Sex Changes, The Politics of Transgenderism, 1997, as well as Doc and Fluff, The Dystopian Tale of a Girl and Her Biker, 2000. As early as 1979, when Patrick was a student in psychology at San Francisco State University, his research was published in the Journal of Homosexuality. This was only 6 years after homosexuality was declassified as a mental disorder in the DSM in 1973. He was already making waves. But the recognition continued, and it followed with, in 1989, Patrick and Jeff Mayes received the Steve Madoff Award for national or international work from National Leather Association International. In 1992, Patrick received the Woman of the Year Award as part of the Pantheon of Leather Awards. Patrick was also nominated for the Lambda Literary Awards for his short story collection, Macho Sluts, his novel Doc and Fluff, The Dystopian Tale of a Girl and Her Biker, and a compilation of his columns, The Advocate Advisor. In 2013, Patrick was named by Equality Forum as one of the 31 icons of LGBT History Month. How about that? Patrick is an inductee of the Society of Janus Hall of Fame. From 2001 to 2011, Patrick was licensed in California as a marriage and family therapist. Now, here's how we connected. When I was a student at California State University, Northridge, and I was getting my master's in counseling, in the same specialization that he had, marriage-family therapy, I did my thesis on gay male sex roles and society. And I referenced Patrick's book, Public Sex, quite profusely. Patrick and I connected, and we started talking. And it turned out he also knew about all those pictures I was doing when I was doing the bear stuff in Bound and Gagged and stuff like that. So he said, oh, he said, you're getting a master's degree, and you're also that guy who's always tied up with his shirt off, right? I said, yes. I wore a suit tonight. I was immediately impressed by his unwavering fierceness at challenging sexual boundaries and societal norms. He challenges all of us to embrace nonconformity in our creative and sexual roles. His legacy is a legacy of power, the power of originality and individuality. He expresses it in his writing. He lives it as a human being. Patrick's had a profound influence on our community. He's made his mark in history. He's challenging boundaries nobody else even considered at the time. Many of us are still trying to catch up with him. As we became closer, and Patrick and I started talking to each other long distance on the phone, texting at night, he said, "You're a GDI." What's that? He said, "That's a goddamn independent. That's why I get along with you." Okay. He's right, I am. But there's nobody who really has blazed trails, I think, more proudly and more unapologetically to be who you are unapologetically, to stand for what's right, like these people over here, like all of you, to use the words, to spread the words that make us all know that we're not alone and that we have something valuable to share. His journey continues. Patrick is in the process of writing his memoirs. Any publishers out there, you'd be really, really smart if you go and grab them. I just want to say, on a personal note, you deserve every award you receive. Thank you. And unfortunately, Patrick could not be with us in person tonight, but I believe we have a video. We have a video, so without further ado, the one, the only, the incredible Patrick Klepfisz.
Hello, everybody. This is Patrick Klepfisz. I'm coming to you from the Rose City, Portland, Oregon. I'm sorry that I can't be there in person. I really want to thank the folks at the Publishing Triangle for giving me this great honor, the Bill Whitehead Award for Lifetime Achievement. I'm still on cloud nine. It isn't anything I expected, and so my heart really goes out to you in gratitude and astonishment. I want to thank David Groff and all of the staff and the volunteers who made this event possible, and also thank Joe Manetti for dressing up as his handsome self and doing an introduction. That was above and beyond the call of friendship. I was told that I could take a few minutes to talk about activism and creativity in a queer context, so I hope I can wrap that up in the stated limit of 5 minutes. I believe that creating queer culture is a form of activism. It is a way of reaching out to our kin and letting them know that we're here, and hopefully gathering people in so that ideas and aesthetics and agendas can cross-fertilize and create something that is really dynamic and alive. Queer culture, when we do it right, also becomes a way to notify the larger society that we're here. And that is super important. I mean, I came out in 1971, and it was a real catch-22 to try to find any information, much less an actual location where gay people would be located. And you only could locate gay if you already knew gay existed. And often what it meant was looking in the margins of the cultural discourse for a big smudge where they had tried to erase us. I never want us to be that invisible again. And if my life work has been for any purpose, it has been for the purpose of forming community, gaining territory, defending that territory, and loving ourselves enough to not back down when the majority tries to scare us into going back into the closet. There are a lot of different closets in this country. And right now, the minority group that is under the heaviest attack is trans people. More than 400 pieces of legislation that are pending or actually already passed to make it harder for young people to transition, and even adults. There are attempts to prevent us from accessing medical treatment or dressing as our true selves. In Florida, a law has been proposed that would make it a capital crime to be transsexual in front of minors. And this would be ridiculous if it weren't so terrifying, because there are many trans people who are parents. And so the pro-family movement is once again trying to break up families and separate those of us who are different from the people we love and the people who love us. I don't really think that equality is enough if we're looking at forming an agenda for activism. We are a unique people. We have our own traditions, our own needs, histories, mores, sexuality, problems, and we can't afford to give any of that up for the sake of assimilation. Assimilation may make it easier to live in a nice house in a suburban neighborhood, but it doesn't help working class queers, and it does not mean that America has learned to tolerate difference. And until that sea change takes place, none of the civil rights that we win will be worth the paper that they're printed on. We need to be able to be out and also be safe, to make a living, and to be able to walk down to the corner store or to a laundromat without being threatened with violence or ridicule. I'm not sure really which one is worse. And in order to have a kind of equality that is not assimilation, we need everybody. Each little minority group is too small to do street action or lobbying on its own and be effective. And that means we need to study all forms of oppression in this culture. There are tons of brilliant people who are doing work on disability rights, defending sex workers, helping prisoners, fighting racism. And we need to be able to be allies to one another and learn, if we don't know already, how to form coalitions. Now, this is not easy. We don't always get greeted with a great big thank you and a kiss on the cheek. Learning how to be a good ally often means being uncomfortable, educating yourself, being willing to relinquish your privilege, and enhancing your own empathy so that you are able to intuit why it is that groups of people who are not just like you are being harmed and why that is not morally acceptable. I think it's very important for mainstream lesbians and gay men to remember that homosexuality is in fact a form of gender variance, and that the only reason you all get outed is because you don't conform to the gender binary. So you can put that in your cocktail olive and smoke it, because that's just the truth. If you are uncomfortable supporting trans people now that we are under attack, you have to realize that part of why we make you uncomfortable is because there is something about us that you cannot accept within yourself. We are connected. And if you don't want a moral panic that will sweep Republicans into power and hand public policy in this country over to them, this is where we got to fight. This is where we have to make our stand. I just want to say that we've always been terrorized of the next generation, and the prospect of young people being corrupted has always been used by our enemies to try to frighten us away from the folks who will come after us. And it's part of why we lose our history with every generation, and part of why we wind up reinventing the wheel in many ways. When young writers come to me and say, I need advice on how to get published, I don't know what to tell them. I mean, America has always been very hostile to any kind of public funding for the arts, and the gay bookstores, publishing companies, women's bookstores, magazines, all of that has been replaced by an internet that, in fact, is not really very friendly to queer people. We do manage to use it, the margins of it, but we need to pay more attention to other ways of encountering and communicating with each other. And we need to think about how to mentor and financially guarantee that artists can do really good work. Because no matter what the internet may tell you, you cannot create high quality content for free. That just does not happen. Being an artist is a job. It is work, it is a career, and it is a vocation. Now, when we talk about activism, people like to say, oh, our enemies are on the wrong side of history. And I do believe that, but I also believe that we can't always win. What we can do is create a record of our resistance. We can make it very clear that we did not willingly knuckle under when there were people who screamed at us, shot us, refused to give us jobs or housing, and the whole rest of that shameful slate of oppression. Okay, and that is, often that is all we can do, and so it has to be enough. I believe we can go further, but it will take huge amounts of effort and cooperation. Finally, I just want to say that we should all be deviant, we should all be defiant, and we should never give up. And this may sound odd coming from me, but I really believe that it is better to live on your feet than it is to live on your knees or with somebody else's boot on the back of your neck. That's assuming it's a non-consensual boot. Thank you for this time to air my opinions. Thank you again for this award. And I just want to send my love out to each and every one of you. We are beautiful, we are valuable, we are important. Once again, never give up.
Thank you. My husband sent me a text to tell me to stop asking everybody how they were doing. So for the last time tonight, how's everybody doing? That's it. Once again, we would like to thank all of our judges who contributed their time and passion, our fabulous presenters, and congratulations to all of our much-deserving finalists and winners. For those watching virtually, thank you so much. For more information about Publishing Triangle membership, please visit publishingtriangle.org. And for those still here, join us now in Wallman Hall for a celebratory reception. When you leave the auditorium, these are the instructions. When you leave the auditorium and enter the lobby, turn left. Walk through the courtyard, then take the elevator to the 5th floor. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your evening, stay safe, and keep supporting the Publishing Triangle, our LGBTQ+ authors and books. Good night. Thank you.